Hello.
In 1912, in a quiet neighborhood of New York City, lived a couple who seemed completely ordinary. They kept to themselves. They caused no trouble. To their neighbors, they were just another peaceful married pair trying to build a life. But behind closed doors, one of them was hiding a secret so dark, so disturbing, that when the truth finally surfaced, it shocked an entire nation. Tonight's story is about the last priest ever sentenced to death, a case filled with obsession, deception, and a darkness no one saw coming. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back to the Last Story channel, the place where real stories become unforgettable. If you enjoy true crime and real-life mysteries, make sure to subscribe. I upload 2 long stories every week. Now, turn down the lights, get comfortable, and let's begin. Our story takes us to the early 20th century, to the Hudson River in New York. September 2nd, 1913. Early in the morning, a fisherman set out alone in his small boat, expecting nothing more than a quiet day on the water. The river was calm. The air was still. Everything felt normal until something struck the side of his boat. At first, he thought it was driftwood, but when he looked closer, his blood froze. Floating beside him was a human head. The eyes were missing. The teeth had been removed. Terrified, the man rushed back to shore and alerted the police. Authorities recovered the remains and sent them for examination. But investigators faced an immediate problem. They had no identity, no witnesses, no clear cause of death. Only one detail was certain. The victim was a woman. Days passed, then weeks, and slowly the Hudson River began revealing more horrors. One by one, more body parts appeared. Each discovery spread fear across the city. Every piece examined by doctors confirmed the same terrifying conclusion. They all belonged to the same woman. New York was now facing a brutal and mysterious murder. But without knowing who the victim was, the investigation seemed impossible. Until police found their first real clue. One of the body parts had been wrapped inside a pillowcase. At first glance, it seemed ordinary. But investigators noticed something unusual. The fabric was handmade, rare, and marked with the letter A. This small detail would change everything. Detectives traced the pillowcase to a craftsman who personally handmade each piece. When shown the fabric, the man immediately recognized it as his work, and luckily, he kept records of every customer. After checking recent sales, investigators noticed something strange. Most buyers were elderly, except one, a young man in his early 30s, young, quiet, recently married. Police visited his neighborhood and questioned the neighbors. Everyone described him the same way: polite, reserved, ordinary. But then someone mentioned something unsettling. His wife hadn't been seen for weeks. People assumed she had traveled. Investigators were no longer convinced. Detectives went straight to the couple's apartment. No one answered the door. As they waited outside, the landlord arrived. At first, he refused to open the apartment without permission, but when police explained they were investigating a possible murder, he handed over the key. The moment the door opened, the smell hit them. Rotten, heavy, unmistakable. Inside, the apartment was a crime scene. Blood stained the walls. The air was unbearable. And in the bathroom, they found human remains still decomposing. There was no longer any doubt. This was where the murder had happened. Now they needed only one thing: the husband. While searching the apartment, investigators discovered letters exchanged between the couple before their marriage. The contents confused them. The letters spoke about guilt, sin, and forbidden actions, and one sentence stood out: "I cannot continue this. God will punish us. That's when detectives realized something shocking. The husband was a priest, a man of faith, a man who preached love, forgiveness, and morality. Yet now, he was the prime suspect in one of the most horrifying crimes New York had ever seen. Police rushed to St. Joseph's Church, and there he was, standing before a crowd, delivering a sermon about compassion. Moments later, officers escorted him away for questioning. His name was Father Hans Schmidt. At first, he denied everything. He claims he didn't even know the victim, but under pressure, his story collapsed. And finally, he confessed. What investigators discovered next would shock even seasoned detectives. Because Hans Schmidt wasn't just hiding a crime, he was hiding a lifetime of disturbing obsessions that began in childhood. And the deeper they looked into his past, the darker the story became.